Today was an interesting day. And I've been doing a pretty decent job of staying engaged throughout the day for the most part. That's one of the biggest things I've been working on, and lately, and just not letting the little things impact my trading so much. So my level of focus, I think, has been much better. However, it's hard to focus when there's just not much activity out there for my liking. But I did find a few trades, and towards the end of the day, I did kind of revert back to my old ways of revenge trading, and I started to overtrade a bit. But I didn't let it get out of hand, and I, for the most part, just checked myself before it got really, really bad. The first trade I made was on SQ. It looked like a reversal was coming, and as soon as we confirm above VWAP and the 20 EMA, I figured it should hold strong and just carry up to maybe the five period moving average, 5 minute moving average, or 5 minute opening range low. I'm tripping. So that's kind of where I figured it could head to, and I would exit if it starts trading below the 9. And as you can see, pretty much right after I entered, it just went against me. The bad thing is there wasn't any real news to hold the stock up or have it trade independent of the market. So I was pretty much at the mercy of the S&P or the market, and when it decided to go down, it just took ROKU with it and ended up stopping me out. I didn't let that discourage me though. In the past, I would just miss opportunities because I would have the previous play in my head, and it would be a negative play, and it would just discourage me from taking another trade. But I just went ahead and went long again because we started trading above the key moving averages. The S&P seemed to be going up, and the stock was starting to look very strong. So I'm thinking, all right, this is the move that's going to push it up to where I need it to be. Once again, I'm going to risk around this area, previous low, and let it do what it's going to do. But once again, right after I get in, it surges up at first of all, so that's encouraging. But by the end of the candle, it sold off half, and that was discouraging. So the stock just started tapering down, and so it makes this dip, and I'm thinking I'm gonna put a stop about 5 cents below the low of this candle. If it hits it, I'm out. But lucky enough, it did not go any lower, and it just went up and hit my target. I was hoping for a bigger move, but I knew this had to. If it struggled here, I just need to go ahead and take it, and that's exactly what I did. I just took my profits and just went on about my day. No other really good setups here the rest of the day on SQ. However, I did like that the 100 EMA was holding the stock down, and once I saw this action, I figured we could probably start heading down again. Like this really seems to be a resistance level, looking like a triple top. It did make a higher low, or you could call this equal, but this part was a little concerning to me because I wanted a lower low, to kind of show more bearishness. But nonetheless, I decided to get here. Figure we can at least hit 122.50, but ultimately VWAP is my target. So once I go short, it started to look like it's going down, but once again, it's just doing what the market is doing. So as the market starts to head up a little bit, it starts to surge up, and I end up getting out right at the high of this candle, which was my stop. So this one wasn't really all that good of a trade. So on this particular stock alone, I was only 1 for 3 from the field. But to give myself a grade on these trades, this one I would give a C, because I should have waited for the stock to hold above this level a little bit more, or enter closer to the 20. But the good thing is I did stick to my plan, and execution is a A. So I'll live with that. The next trade setup was a C. At the time, I thought it was a B. My entry, C. Execution, it's an A because I got out at my price target. However, I did hold out on pulling the trigger, just kind of being greedy, trying to wait to see if it's going to head higher. So I should have just exited as soon as it hit my target, but I did play the game of waiting to see if it goes higher. The problem with doing that is that waiting so long, it could just head back down before it even, and it may never come back up, and I miss my opportunity to take profits. So the overall trade on this, probably a B. Overall trade on this one's probably going to be C, because I did a good job. I would give myself an A on execution. Setup, C. Entry, B. It's just, this is a kind of a risky play in general, just for the simple fact that I got in so early, and I didn't wait for it to, get below these support levels. So overall, I guess maybe a C on that particular trade. So here's similar to SQ, my last trade on SQ. So with FSLR, is using the 200 as resistance very nicely. So I entered just as it looks like it's starting to head over, and it rolls over pretty well. The problem is maybe my target wasn't where it should have been. VWAP was my target area. Risking above, I can't remember if it was above 200 or above this candle here, but I only traded 50 shares on this, so I wanted to really try to maximize profits here. So VWAP would have been partial, and then, well, depending how fast it sold off, either VWAP or in between here would have been my first profit, and final profit would have been in between, somewhere in this area. So Since it went down far enough for me to make a profit, I decided once it comes back to my break-even point, I would just get out, because I didn't want this to turn against me. The problem was I somehow removed my stop order and did not realize it. So I didn't quite get out at break-even, but it was close enough. Luckily, the stock didn't go up against me too much. But in terms of setup, this is C plus. In terms of entry, B plus. Execution, it's going to be a fail because I failed to get out at break even. But the overall trade on this is going to be probably a C plus B minus. The next trade was on JWN. I hate that I missed the entry right here. This was such an easy trade. I could have easily bought 200 shares in this area, but I just forgot to check up on it. So I really was trying to look for the next entry. Could have maybe bought some here, but I ended up buying here because it looked like it was really holding the 9 and really holding the above the pre-market high. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to go ahead and go long. I just convinced myself of that. I typically wouldn't want to do this unless this stock was trending a bit better. I don't like to take bounces off the 9 unless there's more separation between the 9 and the 20, and the stock is more horizontal. So I'm sorry, more vertical. I just went ahead because I just really wanted to have a win in this trade, and sure enough, I got stopped out right as we confirmed below the 20 EMA. So this was a small loss, but entry. Well, first of all, the setup, I would grade it C minus. Entry was B. Execution A. Overall trade C plus, even though it was a loss. Now the final stock I traded was ROKU. Now this is where things started to kind of get out of hand because I started reverting back to my old ways of just trying to take quick profits and revenge trade, and just wanted to make something back, some money back on the day. I took an entry here because it started, as it popped above the 100, this along with so many other stocks following the market. I figured the market looks like it's ready to surge a bit, so I went long here. And I was holding my breath the entire five minutes of this candle, and that just told me I should have just went ahead and got out because I can't stomach the lack of continuation. So as soon as we started to dip below this candle, I got out. I just couldn't take it no more. So this was a small loss. I did size in a bit more, which I probably shouldn't have done. I should have stuck with the same size I've been, trading with the past few weeks. But again, I'm just telling myself I want to make more. I want to make some money back. I know how to trade. I just keep doing stupid shit. So I exercise a little bit more patience. Well, first of all, let me grade this trade. Setup C, entry C minus, execution F, because I didn't really have a plan per se. I just knew I wanted to get out quick if the market started turning around. And overall trade, C minus. Moving on to this trade, this is more of my style. The only bad thing was that we're getting towards the end of the day, and I don't typically like to take trades that late because it's just not enough time to move. But you know, it's riding the 9 pretty good, and this 100 EMA is a good safety net. And again, the market looks like it's about to make a quick little pop. So I enter here, and I use more size than I've been using typically. So once again, I'm kind of overly anxious on this trade. I figure I exit if I'm going to be more patient than I was on this trade. This one was more of an actual setup, so I figured I'm going to let it test the 100, and if it can't hold, then I get out. Target was going to be in this area near the 200, but as we start moving up, I decide, well, it's struggling, so let me just go ahead and lower my target, because I really want to make sure I get profit. So I went ahead and lowered it, and I get triggered, and then right after that it hits my target and comes screaming down. So I did have a chance to meet my full target, which it would have been 133.70, but I ended up getting out at 133.53. So it was close enough. I could live with that. So overall, the setup was a B plus entry, B plus, A minus. Execution, it's a fail because I didn't stick to the plan. I got out before hitting my target, but the overall trade I would give a pretty solid B. So not a good day. Lost negative 61 bucks. Overtraded a little bit, so commissions were a little high for me at $41, so that totals 102 bucks. With the right stocks in play, I feel like I could make that back easily. If the right stocks and if I stay focused. So hopefully some good opportunities show up tomorrow, and hopefully I can maintain the discipline and focus throughout the day, even while I'm working, so I can maximize my potential. But that'll do it. Peace. Deuces.